kicking off the new year by starting a new theme. This theme is Janimation January, and we'll begin things with a look at forgotten 80s cartoon toys. So, stick around. Fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to Nostalgia Syndrome. My name is Rob, and in this episode we will be talking about forgotten 80s cartoon toys. It seems like a pretty simple topic to dive into, and surprisingly this is the first time that I've done so. See, the thing is, when it comes to forgotten toys, the cartoon toys seem to stand above the rest head and shoulders, because cartoons are as fondly remembered as the toys are. So when you talk about Transformers, G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe, those cartoons and toys went hand in hand, and they're definitely not forgotten. So we kind of had to dive a little bit deeper to find some of these forgotten cartoon toys, and believe me, I have plenty, so there will be some follow-ups to this in the future. But anyway, let's kick things off with number 1. Our first cartoon-inspired toy line comes from a toy that was very popular, but I don't think a lot of people remember the cartoon that this toy spawned. And that cartoon had its own line of posable figures. That cartoon was Teddy Ruxpin, and the toys were produced by Worlds of Wonder in 1985. Now, I've mentioned these figures in the past because I was lucky enough to find the Grubby, but there were plenty more, and in total there were 10 action figures released, and they actually released a vehicle as well. We'll talk about that in a Rad Rides episode down the road. But these 10 figures encompassed the book series and cartoon series. And yeah, they featured such characters as Grubby, of course, Teddy, the Woolly Whatsit, and Tweeg, who was the villain of the show. And I feel like a lot of people had the Tweeg figure from what I can remember growing up. I mean, I knew it was from the cartoon, but I think a lot of people gravitated towards this figure just because he's a cool-looking little alien dude with like a frothy beer in his hand. I'm sure it's a potion or something, but it looks like a beer. Now, the character that I was not familiar with at all was Mudballum. And this figure actually looks like something from somebody's nightmares. I mean, I assume he's just some earthly elemental golem type of thing. But just how some of the older versions of the figure have worn down, yeah, he's pretty scary looking. Now, I would love to collect these figures. For some reason, I have like a very vivid nostalgia over these type of PVC-esque action figures. I mean, there's a lot of different toy lines that produced little posable figures like this that I would love to have. And the Teddy Ruxpin ones, I mean, actually go for around $5 a pop to around $300 a pop. So they range from, yeah, very reasonable to what the heck are you talking about? But I'm sure if you manage your money well, you'll be able to get a full set, no problem. Our second toy line comes from a cartoon that I absolutely loved in the 80s. And it was actually a competitor to another one of my favorite cartoons, the Smurfs. These are the Snorks, and these are wind-up swimmers. They were released by the wind-up king, Tomy, in 1984. Now, there were 5 swimmers in total, and they featured all of the hero characters. Now, on the back of the package, they also showed that there were walking wind-ups as well, but we'll save that for another day. Today, we're just strictly talking about the swimming ones. Now, I know swimming wind-up toys were kind of hit and miss. I think as long as there wasn't any damage to the actual toy itself, it swam perfectly. As soon as a little bit of water got inside the body, those things sunk like a submarine with a hole in the side. It didn't really make sense because submarines are underwater anyway. Anyway, I absolutely adored this show, and I watched it as a companion to the Smurfs, and I always wished that there was a day where they would have crossed over. Even though I think the Snorks are more of a modern day, while of course the Smurfs are a medieval fantasy time period. But a kid can wish, can't they, that, you know, All-Star and Hefty would have gone on an adventure together, underwater of course, with, you know, Handy make a deep sea outfit like he did in an episode of the Smurfs. But anyway, I digress. Now, these start at around $4 online, and as you can see by these pictures, $4 gets you a pretty beat-up swimming Snork. But if you want to drop 50 bucks, you can find one still mint in package, which when you're talking about 80s toys on the secondary market, that really doesn't seem that crazy. Our third toy has the distinction of being a cartoon spawned from a SCTV character that also made an appearance on Saturday Night Live. How crazy is that? Anyway, the character portrayed by Martin Short was Ed Grimley, and the cartoon was The Completely Mental Misadventures of Ed Grimley. This is the talking Ed Grimley doll, released by Tyco in 1989. Now, I have to say, Tyco producing something like this, was it their chance to cash in on a Pee Wee Herman or an Ernest P. Worrell? I don't know, because Tyco really wasn't known for toys like this. But the Ed Grimley doll also has the distinction of being the only one on the list that actually had a TV commercial. So, of course, we'll attach that here in a minute. But this character had so many different catchphrases that a talking version of it was a perfect idea. I mean, they should have also included his little triangle as an added accessory. That would be pretty awesome. But I remember fondly the SCTV character, not so much the Saturday Night Live character. For some reason, I was an SCTV kid growing up, more so than a Saturday Night Live. I hardly remembered the cartoon at all, so watching the intro, which is playing in the background, was really eye-opening to how mental his misadventures actually were. Now, you can find this really cheap, actually. I'm sure the talking feature is long gone, but on the upside, you can get one still in package for only 125 bucks. So that's really not that bad, if you're into Ed Grimley, that is.
Are you ready to go completely mental? It's the Ed Grimley talking doll.
This is the surprise MFA.
I'm as doomed can be, you know.
Now you can take Ed everywhere.
This is like my luckiest of lucky days.
Pull his string and he says 6 completely mental things.
Oh, is this not like the best vacation or what?
Oh, give me a break.
Bedtime already? Who knew?
I'm going completely mental, I must say.
Talking Ed Grimley. He's more than a talking doll. He's Ed Grimley.
Our fourth toy is from a British cartoon that found a life here in America on Nickelodeon. Now, this was a show that I remember watching all the time, and I was quite surprised to actually put a year on it, which was 1989. I thought I was a lot younger. But the toy is Count Duckula, and these were produced by Rainbow Toys, like I said, in 1989. These are small PVC miniatures, and they feature all of the main cast and characters. You actually get 2 different Duckulas, which is pretty cool. He's in 2 different poses. Now, surprisingly, these are super rare online. I couldn't find that many of them actually up for sale. And the ones that were are very reasonably priced. I mean, these little miniatures were about 4 inches to 5 inches in height. So that's actually pretty good for a PVC miniature. Now, maybe they wouldn't even be miniatures at that point. That's up to interpretation. But anyway, Count Duckula, super awesome. These figures, awesome other than a few of their paint jobs. Our 5th and final forgotten 80s cartoon toy is from a cartoon that I absolutely loved when I could actually find it. It was syndicated and it seemed to appear whenever it felt like appearing. Now, this toy line has a very sad backstory. And as you can tell by the video playing behind me, the cartoon was Dino Saucers. Now, the backstory was that Galoob was actually going to make 8-inch action figures of 8 of the characters. Now, along with that, there were some vehicles and play sets planned. They actually went the prototype, they actually took it to Toy Fair. Unfortunately, by the time the ball got rolling, the cartoon had been canceled due to poor viewership. Now, like I said, it was a hard cartoon to find in syndication, so it seems like they kinda shot themselves in the foot in this situation. Can't really blame the cartoon if no one can actually watch it. Now, it was a very fun cartoon, and yeah, I enjoyed all the episodes that I was able to watch. Now, this is where we get to the actual physical toys being made and hitting the shelves. Unfortunately, those shelves were in Brazil because Glasslight actually bought the molds off of Galoob and produced 5 of the planned 8 figures. But like I said, they were only released in Brazil. Now, the ones that have made it to America go for an astronomically high price. And yeah, I could only find 2 of them being offered on eBay at least. And as you can see, the price is pretty steep. Now, there have been some fan recreations over the years. There have also been some attempts at rekindling this toy line, but unfortunately, those haven't gone anywhere, just like the original Galoob production. I mean, this just seems like a doomed toy line from the start, which is pretty sad because the cartoon was very imaginative and very fun, and these toys look equally as fun. Anyway, let's head out to the outro. Okay folks, that was a look at 5 forgotten 80s cartoon toys. And I have to admit, it's been about a month since I've actually sat down here, and I can definitely feel the ring rust, as they say. Because, yeah, I stumbled through this episode, but I hope that doesn't come through after I edit it. If it does, please excuse me, and just know that from here on out, we're going to be hitting it every week, and it should be a little bit better, I hope. Anyways, thank you so much, and I hope you all have had the happiest of New Year's so far, and you had a great holiday. And like I said, this month's theme will be Janimation January, with a little bit of the New Year, New Toy theme as well. So, look forward to cartoon content and new toys that I got under the tree this year from Santa. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them and I love getting back to everyone. And if you're new around here, you enjoyed this or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit a little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.